start with the second chapter of biological classification, and this channel I will teach you in this year whole syllabus of the biology, chemistry and physics. We make a lot questions in the chemistry also and physics also. In the NEET exam, the questions of the physics and chemistry is very important of the back exercise of the of this subject, and I will finish it. And be living word, it was the living word we have completed it, but it was I don't know the how to rotate the screen, that's why it was mm, not much good. But in this video I will teach you best. I try my best. And next, have made the PDF to cross in the phone size, but before it was very short. Pass another one. Sorry about it. And next, we will start with the biological classification. I will tell you the PIQ along with the video and the tricks also, and I will tell you the summary of this chapter also. Summary is also very important. NCERT will some points will not mention in the chapter, but it mention in the summary. They will also come in the exam. It will for board exam also, it was for a NEET exam also very important. And the word to word memorization is very important, for not only of for a class only. You have to prepare another time. You have to time revise it. Next, we have to start with without delay. Start. It was sorry for this. It was error, but I will teach you. Yes, next. Oh, what happening? Next, it was introduction. I'll teach you. In the before class, we have that much of study, but it was how the living word has so many not important things. But in the biological classification, we start with the word to word with introduction also. Since the dawn of civilization, there have been many attempts to classify living organisms. It was done instinctively, not using criteria that were scientific, but born out of need to use organisms for our own use, for food, shelter, and cloth. Yes, we have classified the organisms in the basis of the our use. We only used organisms for our needs only. But Aristotle was the earliest to attempt a more scientific basis for classification. He used simple morphological characters to classify plants into trees, shrubs, and herbs. Morphology means nothing but it is a how the organisms look by our by our eyes. It was the outer structure of it. Morphology is nothing but outer structure. It states about outer structure. Like if we take an example of the plants, its morphology was flowers and stem, leaves, etc. But when anatomy, opposite to it, morphology, anatomy is there. Anatomy is nothing but is the study of internal structure of the organism. Morphology is the study of outer structure of the organism. Yes, clear. And next, here to classify, here Aristotle was classified the trees or the plants on the basis of their morphological characters, like trees, shrubs, and herbs. He classified it like this: trees were bigger, plants, and the shrubs were medium-sized plants, and herbs were um, grass like plants. Like this, he classified. Next, for animals, he classified as two groups, like which have the red blood cells and which do not have a red blood cells, not a less cells, red blood. Organisms which have red blood, and one group, and next group of without red blood, without red blood. It may be green or anything of color, but not red. Into two groups by Aristotle. Remember it. It was the important one. It not a PYQ, but important one. It may be asked. It may be asked after one page class. You have to take a screenshot of it. In linear stem, a two kingdom system of classification with a plantae and animalia was developed that include all plants and animals respectively. Linnaeus mentioned two kingdoms only, that's plantae and animalia. It was made by Linnaeus. This one and this one. Yes, clear. Take a screenshot. I will move next. Yes. Here, this system didn't distinguish between the eukaryotics and prokaryotes. These were the exceptions of this. Exceptions. What are the exceptions? They do not mention about eukaryotes and prokaryotes. Eukaryotes is nothing but which have a nuclear membrane, definite nuclear membrane. His genetic material was in the nuclear membrane. Atom and the cell has nucleus. In this nucleus, it covered by the nuclear membrane. But when it comes to the prokaryotes, there is no nuclear membrane in the cell. Nuclear membrane is absent. That's why they were classified into prokaryotes. Remember it. I will give a trick for it. Eukaryotes have nuclear membrane. Yes. Prokaryotes do not have the nuclear membrane. E N and P W. You know the physics wala. Yes, remember it. Physics wala. You when the you have to find it difficult in the remembering, then you have to make a tricks. But tricks were not tricks were not very efficient for remember anything and everything. We have to revise it also. Tricks after doing tricks, don't leave it and remember those also. Then you will remember it. And practice makes man perfect. You know that's all. And PW, remember PW is nothing but prokaryotes without nuclear membrane. Yes. And it do not mention about unicellular, multicellular. Unicellular means have a one cell only, called unicellular. When multicellular means multi. A word itself says many cells. And also it not mention about photosynthetic like green plants and non-photosynthetic like fungi organisms. Photosynthetic means they synthesize their own food using light. All the green plants do this process. They are the photosynthesis. Photo means nothing but light. That's the that's why they called as photosynthesis, synthesizing organisms. But non-photosynthetic is their heterotrophs, nothing but depend on the other organisms. These are the non-photosynthetic organisms. And it is also Aristotle and Linnaeus classification. The does not mention about these terms. These all are the exceptions of their work. Next, classification of organisms into plants and animals was easily done and was easy to understand, but a large number of classification didn't fall into either category. Plants and animals, it was easy method, but it the organisms exist like those some organisms we are not taking the any category. They do not fall in the any category, and they are not plant, they are not animals. In the which category we have to put them, and that's the problem. Next, that's why they were cancelled or failed. Hence the two kingdom classification is need was also felt for including other characteristics like and no, but a large number of organisms don't fall in either categories, and hence two kingdom classification used for long time was found inadequate. It was failed, and besides gross morphology, a need was also felt for including other characteristics like cell structure, nature of wall, mode of nutrition, habitat, methods of reproduction, evolutionary relationships, etc. We used these terms also. Their cell structure and nature of wall, mode of nutrition, in what place they were exist, and method of their reproduction and evolutionary relationship. These all we have taken into account, and then we have classified it. Classification system for the living organisms have undergone several changes over the time. Though plant and animal kingdom have been a constant under all different systems, the understanding of what group or organisms be included under this kingdom have been changing. Yes, the classification system was changing as we moving up because of our understanding was broadening, and the number and the nature of other kingdoms have also been understood differently by different scientists over the time, and many classification were done by the scientists. In this page we have the importance of the exceptions and how we classified after these experiments these classification was failed. That's being included with the cell structure, cell wall, mode of nutrition, and the method of reproduction and the evolutionary relationship. These two are important. Next, take a screenshot and then we move to the next. Yes. This box, this table is very much important. The board exams also, the many questions we are asking this, and it has the NEET PYQ also here, and here the most important column of the NEET, and you have to remember whole box because many PYQ was done, and the probability of having questions in this table is most occurable. And next, I will teach you the table. Oh, error is there. Please wait. I will this. Yes, cell type. We have the characters like cell type, cell wall, nuclear membrane, body organization, mode of nutrition. Monera is the a kingdom, and the next protista kingdom, the fungi kingdom, plantae kingdom, and animal kingdom. These are the five kingdoms of classification nowadays we are using. It was given by the R.H. Whittaker, and in the year of 1965. Yes, cell type is of monerans. It was prokaryotic. Prokaryotic nothing but PW. Yes, PW. What is PW? Rhizosphala? No, no, no. It was prokaryotic without nuclear membrane. Yes, and the other four kingdoms have the eukaryotes. Are the eukaryotes have the nuclear membrane, and cell wall. Cell wall is of monerans. It was non-cellulosic, but plantae has cellulose. It's non-cellulosic. It is the opposite in the cell wall. And non-cellulosic means it is made up of polysaccharide and amino acids. Here present in some protista have the cell wall and some do not. And the fungi as present of cell wall, but it contains another chitin. All the fungi kingdom have the special cell wall called chitin, made up of chitin. What? Chitin. Yes, next. Present plenty of the cellulose of the cell wall, and the animal kingdom do not have a cell wall. Yes. The nuclear membrane absent the monerans because of they are the prokaryotes. In the eukaryotes they have the cell nuclear membrane. That's why they are present of nuclear membrane. And the body organization of Monera, it was cellular. Monera and the protista, we are the cellular. And the question were asked like this: name the organisms which are cellular eukaryotes. Cellular eukaryotes means it was nothing but protists. They have the cells and only one cell with no group of cells. Cellular along with eukaryote. That's the protist. And fungi has multicellular and loose tissues are there. Plant is the tissue along or maybe organ, and the animals have the tissues, organs, and organ system. Here the increasing level can you see? Yes, increasing level. How? Here multicellular and loose tissues and organ, and the tissues, organs, and organ system. Yes, how? And this group of cells. Remember, group of cells gives us tissue. They have the common function. This group of cells here forms tissue which are functions same common function. They have a same function and group. And this group of tissues will give us organ, and group of organs gives, yes, what is it? Organ system. Yes, clear. That's why here trick is that here increasing order. Yes. Mode of nutrition. Mode of nutrition here very complex mode of nutrition was the monerans. That's why PRQ we are done in this block. Autotrophic with photosynthetic also, chemosynthetic also, without light also, with light also. And heterotrophic, most of the monerans were heterotrophic as they are saprophytic and parasitic. Saprophytic means the organisms which depends on the dead substance, dead organisms, etc. etc. Parasitic means which were derive nutrition from the living organisms but without killing them, like ticks, like leeches. In ಅಚ್ಚ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು ಏನು, ಯಾವೇನು, ತಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿರೋ ಏನು. ಎಸ್ ಎಸ್. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್, no, these were left. Protists are the atrophic, nothing but photosynthetic and also atrophic fungi. We are heterotrophs only. We are already learnt in the introduction itself. It was heterotrophic. Some are the saprophytic, some are the parasitic. And the plantia are the photosynthetic. They don't know one as the heterotrophic. They are all autotrophic, but exceptions are there, like cuscuta. You have heard about it? No, cuscuta is a parasitic one. Yes, parasitic. It was heterotrophic itself, and along with insectivorous plant like pitcher plant. These are the organisms which these are the plants which derive nutrition from the organisms or the insects. Pitcher plant, pitcher plant, pitcher plant. It was an insectivorous plant. They have the modified leaves. In these leaves, it was very it was bowl-like structure of leaves, modified leaves. When an insect sit on this leaves, it will close and derives nutrition. Then after it will drop the insect, and the insect will died or alive. Yes, it was killed. Yes. Next, animal had the most of the heterotrophs only, but they are allozoic. Allozoic means they derive nutrition by mammals. Mammals means we people only. We bites. We are the allozoic and saprophytic. Saprophytic means the organisms which depends on the dead organisms or the dead substance. Yes. Next, R.H. Whittaker. I have already explained you. It is PIQ. R.H. Whittaker in the 1969 proposed the 5 kingdom classification, and the classification is like Monera, Protists, and Plantia, Animalia. Yes. In the year is also important. 1969. So sorry. It was 1969. It was syllabus was modified, I think. I heard about it 1965, but it is 1969. Please remember this is only, and the scientist was R.H. Whittaker. Nowadays we are using this classification only. And the main criteria for classification used by the scheme and includes cell structure, body organization, mode of nutrition, reproduction with phylogenetic relationship. Is a new term, phylogenetic relationship. What is it? It is nothing but evolutionary. Evolutionary. What is it? These two terms are similar. Evolutionary is nothing but dead organisms. After burrowing it in the land, we can get their skeletal system, and by using C14, nothing but carbon 14 isotope, we come to know that what is the relationship of the organisms to organisms. As if we taken the dinosaur skeletal, or the other organisms, dog, or the mammals, we have to check the relationship among them. What is the relationship? That is phylogenetic relationship. Yes. Next, table 2.1. gives the comparative account to different characteristics of the five kingdoms, and the three king domain system has also been proposed that divides the kingdom monarchs into two domains, leaving in the remaining acratic kingdoms in the third domain, and therefore thereby the sixth kingdom classification. We have the three domains, three domains. Mm, mm, and the Aristotelic kingdom was five kingdom, but we have the three domains of classification that includes three domains as two domains as Monera, and third domains is these four. Two domains of Monerans. Monerans are the two types, and this have a error. Five kingdom classification, but here Monerans we are divided into two. Monerans we are divided into two. That's why it was six kingdom classification. You will learn about in the higher classes. Yes, don't worry about it. And next, let us look at this five kingdom classification to understand the issues and considerations that influenced the classification system. Yes, that is we study five kingdom. Earlier classification systems included bacteria. In the earlier days, we have the bacteria, blue-green algae, fungi, mosses, ferns, gymnosperms, and the angiosperms under plants. These all were under the plants only, but after Falkland classification, the characters that unified this whole kingdom was that all the organisms included had cell wall in their cells, and these were put in the same category, that is plants, because they all are the cell wall, but this placed together group which it widely differed in the other characters, but these were all different, they were differ from each other, but earlier they placed in the only one plants kingdom only, and it was nowadays we are not put in the same kingdom, we have the different kingdoms. It brought together the prokaryotic bacteria and the blue green algae, that is cyanobacteria, with other groups which were eukaryotes, and the one prokaryotic bacteria were placed in the monerans, and the blue green algae is which is eukaryotic, and it also grouped together unicellular organisms and the multicellular ones, say example chlamydomonas and spirogyra. These were two which are unicellular and multicellular together under algae. These were placed in the algae, and the classification didn't differentiate between the heterotrophic group like fungi and autotrophic group like green plants, and earlier classification they are not different the two types, that is heterotrophic in organisms which will depend on the other organisms, heterotrophs, and the autotrophic like plants, green plants were placed in the only one kingdom, but nowadays we have two different, and though they also showed a characteristic difference in the cell wall composition, like fungi are they have cell wall, but in their composition chitin is there, which other kingdoms don't have that, and in their walls, while the green plants had cellulosic cell wall. Cellulosic cell wall was use of the green plants, and when such characteristics were considered, the fungi were placed in the separate kingdoms and the kingdom fungi, and when we observed this difference, we placed it as in the separate kingdom called fungi, and all prokaryotic organisms were grouped in under the kingdom monera, and the unicellular eukaryotic. Unicellular means only one celled eukaryotic organisms. I was told earlier that is Protista, and kingdom Protista has brought together Chlamydomonas, chlorella and earlier present in the algae within the plant, both having cell walls, but these were two which are placed in the Protista only, but earlier they were in the algae in the plant kingdom. And with the Paramecia amoeba, which were earlier placed in the animal kingdom, which lack of cell wall, these also placed in the Protista only, which are those Chlamydomonas, chlorella, Paramecia amoeba, which were earlier Chlamydomonas and chlorella were considered as plants, and Paramecia and amoeba considered as animals, which nowadays we are placed in these four into one group, that is Protista group. It was a PYQ, please remember it. The kingdom Protista brought Chlamydomonas, chlorella and Paramecia amoeba in there. Take a screenshot, I will move next. Yes. It has put together organisms which in earlier classification were placed in the different kingdoms. They are placed in different kingdoms, but these four were now grouped under the one kingdom only. If you have a book, then mark this PYQ one. If don't, take a screenshot. And over time, an adapter has been made to evolve a classification system which reflects not only the morphological, physiological, and reproductive similarities, but is also phylogenetic. Yes, nowadays we are not using only of physiological, reproductive, nothing but outer structure. We are also considering phylogenetic. Yes, we have the ability to um, have a what is the relationship we have with the ancestors and other organisms. How we have a relationship with them. That is phylogenetic study, that also called as evolutionary relationship. Yes. Now next, B is based on the evolutionary relationship. That is, and yes, here only explained phylogenetic, that is evolutionary. And in this chapter we will study characteristics of kingdom Monera, Protista, fungi of the Viticulture system classification, and the kingdoms Plantae, Animalia, commonly referred to as plant and animal kingdom. We are respectively studied in the third and fourth chapter. In this particular chapter, biological classification, we will study the three kingdoms, the two kingdoms in the chapter 3 and chapter 4. Next you will study. And next, Monera bacteria are the sole members of the kingdom Monera. Yes, Monera means nothing but bacteria nothing but Monera. These are the prokaryotic organisms, and they have the most abundant microorganisms. They are abundant one, and it was the biggest. And bacteria occur almost everywhere. It is abundant, that's why it is everywhere. And hundreds of bacteria are present in the handful of soil. Only a handful of soil, we have hundreds of bacteria. Only a handful of soil, and they are also live in extreme habitats. They have a capacity to live in extreme habitats. That's why they are abundant. Yes, such as hot springs, deserts, snow, deep oceans, where very few other life forms can survive. Yes, in the desert, springs, or deep oceans, the deep oceans also, and snow. And when in the we are the people. Yes, we are the people. Agree? Yes, we people when placed in the snow areas, or we go to the Himalayan region, then we have to wear so many trousers and sweaters, because we don't have a capacity to um, capacity to capacity to what its capacity to don't have a capacity to live in such an area, but yes, bacteria have that. Many of them live in or on other organisms as parasites. Many of them live on organisms or parasites, like inner and the parasites is divided into two, as endoparasites and exoparasites. Nothing but endo means in. Two types of parasites in live in the organism, and the endoparasites live on the organisms. They are exoparasites. That's why they are both monorails were in and on organismic parasites. And bacteria are grouped under four categories based on their shapes. Based on the shape, bacteria are divided into four categories. That is coccus. Coccus is spherical shape, means like this. Here the diagrams were given. So beautiful are the NCERT diagrams. These, yes, you have seen the roll gurgupe. That's the shape of coccus, like bacteria. Bacteria group, these are on the basis of shapes we are divided into four groups, and in the plural we can say that cocci. Now rod shaped like this. Rod shaped, these are the rod shaped, nothing but these are like a spoon. Yes, can you remember, like a spoon? You are now, when you heat something with a spoon, you have to remember basically it is a rod shaped, and here this structure is called a spoon, remember. And next, the comma shaped, yes, like this comma shaped vibroi. When you put a commas when you are writing anything, you have to remember the vibri shaped bacteria. Yes. Now spiral shaped. Spirillum is spiral shaped. It was the spiral shaped. In spirilla have the flagellates like this. It is called flagellum. And next, it was important. It was also PYQ. It may be matched the following. Come in the NEET exam. So in the board exam, it was asked as characteristics of monerans. Like this, it was asked. Next, yes. Though the bacteria structure is very simple. Bacteria structure is very simple. We have seen it was a comma shaped or a rod shaped, spiral shaped, cocci shaped, but they are very complex in behavior. Yes, they are complex behavior. We are mammals. Mammals, we are very complex structure, but we are not a complex behavior. That bacteria have the complex behavior. Yes, small non-seeing of by our eyes, it is bacteria will affect us more and more. TB, it was death causing bacteria. Yes, like this. They are the have complex behavior. Compared to many other organisms, bacteria as a group show the most extensive metabolic diversity. They are the metabolic. Here, Archaebacteria is very important. Most POQ was done in this paragraph. Each and every line is important. Not only one line. Most POQ was asked by this topic, and it was the very pretty topic to the examiner. Yes, important topic we have to done faster. And these bacteria are special since they live in some of the most harsh habitats such as extreme salty areas. They are called as halophils. Hot springs, they are called as thermophilophiles, and marshy areas, methanogens. Archaebacteria differ from other bacteria in having a different cell wall structure, and this feature is responsible for their survival in extreme conditions. Methanogens are present in the gut of several ruminant animals such as cows, buffaloes, and they are responsible for production of methane, nothing but biogas, from the dung of these animals. Here, Acetobacter is very, they are the organisms of bacteria which live in the extreme areas, extreme habitat like salty, full of salty area. They are in the bacteria which live in the salty areas, they are called halophiles. The in the hot springs lived bacteria, they are called the thermocidophiles. Hot means thermo. It is the similar words. You have to remember like that. And marshy areas means it was their bacteria called methanogens, and here methanogens also present in some cow, buffalo, in the gut of cow or the buffaloes. These methanogens were used to produce of methane or the biogas from the dung of these animals. And this feature of archaebacteria is because of their cell wall structure is different. That's why these archaebacteria were live in the most extreme areas. Eubacteria. And another organism or another bacteria of the Monera kingdom. There are thousands of different eubacteria or true bacteria. Eubacteria is also called as true bacteria, and they are characterized by presence of rigid cell wall. They have eubacteria have rigid cell wall, and if motile, a flagellum is present, and the cyanobacteria, also referred to as blue-green algae, have chlorophyll A similar to green plants and are photosynthetic autotrophs. Cyanobacteria also called as blue-green algae, and these are called as also photosynthetic autotrophs. And the cyanobacteria are unicellular, colonial or filamentous, freshwater or marine or terrestrial algae. It's almost all unicellular, colony of also filamental, and it may be live in the freshwater or the marine water or terrestrial. And the colonies are generally surrounded by gelatinous sheath. As these are colonies were surrounded with the gelatinous sheath, and they often form blooms in polluted water bodies. Some of these organisms can fix atmospheric nitrogen in specialized cells called heterocytes. Yes, these some organisms are fixing atmospheric nitrogen with the specialized cells. They have that cells we are called as heterocysts. Example: nostoc and anobena. Anobena and nostoc have these specialized cells which converts the fixes the atmospheric nitrogen. Chemosynthetic autotrophic bacteria oxidizes various inorganic substances such as nitrates, nitrites, and ammonia, and use released energy for their ATP production. Yes, chemosynthetic organisms nothing but they break down or oxidize the inorganic substances like nitrates, nitrites, and ammonia to produce energy which is useful for the synthesis of ATP, and they play a great role in recycling of nutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus, iron, and sulfur. These all nutrients were recycled by them, which are chemosynthetic autotrophs. Heterotrophic bacteria are most abundant in nature. The majority are important decomposers. Most of them are heterotrophic, but important in the heterotrophic major were decomposers, and many of them have a significant impact on human affairs, and they are helpful in making curd from milk. As we use curd in home, it was helpful in making curd from the milk Conversion of curd is made by this, and production of antibiotics fixing nitrogen in legume roots, etc. Some are pathogens causing damage to human beings, crops, farm animals, and pets. Cholera, typhoid, tetanus, citrus canker are well known diseases caused by different bacteria. Bacteria reproduce mainly by fission. Sometimes, under unfavorable conditions, they produce spores. They also reproduce by a sort of sexual reproduction by adopting a primitive type of DNA transfer from one bacterium to other. Mycoplasma are organisms. It was the POQ one, and it was very important. Yes, this. It was many times asked question in PYQ. The mycoplasma are organisms that completely lack of cell wall. They are smallest living cells known and can survive without oxygen. Many mycoplasma are pathogenic in animal and plants. Yes. Next, kingdom Protista. All single-celled eukaryotes are placed under Protista, but the boundaries of this kingdom are not well defined. What may be a photosynthetic protista do to one biologist may be a plant to the another. In this book, we include chrysophytes, dinoflagellates, euglenoids, slime modes, and protozoans under Protista. These types of Protista we can see those here: chrysophytes, dinoflagellates, euglenoids, and slime modes, protozoans. It was a PIQ in the 2016. Also, single-celled eukaryotic placed in Protista. It was also asked a question in the 2010 of NEET exam. Yes. Like this, we have to write it. Yes. Next, some biologists refer Protista as plants, and some biologists refers it as animals, and the members of Protista are primarily aquatic. This kingdom forms a link with the other dealing with plants, animals, and fungi. This group of kingdom is linked with the plant, animals, and fungi. Being eukaryotes, the Protestant cell body contains a well-defined nucleus and other membrane-bound organelles. Some have flagella and cilia, and some of these kingdom organisms have cilia or a flagella, and Protestants reproduce asexually and sexually by process involved in cell fusion and zygote formation. Next, chrysophytes. Here also we can see PYQ. And chrysophytes, this group includes diatoms and golden algae. Golden algae is also called as desmide. It is important. It may be asked. Maybe. Asked because it was important. They are found in fresh water as well as in marine environments. They are microscopic and float flaccidly in water currents. They are called as plankton. In this kingdom, there are organisms which are microscopic, float facilely in water. They are called plankton. Most of them are photosynthetic. In diatoms, the cell walls form two thin overlapping shells. In chrysophytes, there are two types: diatoms and golden algae. Diatoms are made up of two thin overlapping shells. It was fitted like soap box. The walls are embedded with silica and thus the walls are indestructible. The walls are made up of silica. They are indestructible and thus the atoms have left behind large amount of cell wall deposit in their habitat, and this accumulation over a billions of years referred to as diatomaceous earth. It was an important paragraph. And diatomaceous earth being gritty, this soil is used in polishing, filtration of oils and syrups. Diatoms are chief producer of ocean. Dinoflagellate. The NCERT diagram is seen here. Dinoflagellate. These organisms are most marine and photosynthetic. They appear yellow, green, brown, blue, or red, depending on main pigments present in their cells. All of dinoflagellates as stiff cellulose plates on the outer surface. Most of them have two flagella, one lies longitudinally and the other transversely in a furrow between the wall plates. Yes, the diagram you can see. It is a long one flagella and the short one was furrowed here only. Two flagella, one was long and one was furrowed there. And very often red flanellized dinoflagellates, example Ganvelax, undergo such rapid multiplication that they make the sea appear red, or red tides, also called as red tides, and toxins released by such large numbers may even kill other marine animals such as fishes. Yes, danger one Ganvelax. It is a type of red. It is a type of red dinoflagellates which is multiplying rapidly and releases toxins in the sea which kill the marine animals, nothing but fishes which live in the water. Euglenoids. You can see the picture of euglenoids. Yes, it is a euglenoid. Its wall is made up of pellicle, and these two were flagella of to movement purpose. These flagella were used, and cell wall is made up of pellicle, and it is called as euglena, which has a green pigment similar to those that present in the plants. It photosynthesis like plants only. Majority of them are freshwater organisms found in stagnant water. They are freshwater organisms but found in the stagnant water. Stagnant means which the water which stays there only. It can't move or it doesn't flow. Instead of cell wall, they have a protein rich layer called as pellicle. They don't have a cell wall but protein rich layer is their pellicle, which makes their body flexible. The flexibility of euglenoids is the reason for that is pellicle only, and they have two flagella, a short and long one. One is short and one is long. In dinoflagellates, one is long and another one is furrowed between the plates. And when deprived of sunlight, when no sunlight is present for its photosynthesis, they behave like heterotrophs by predating on other smaller organisms. Interestingly, the pigments of euglenoids are identical to those present in higher plants, Euglena. Slime modes. Slime modes are saprophytic protists. Here the NCERT diagram. It is a slime mode and it is also called as saprophytic protist. It is only a one which is saprophytic protist. The body moves along decaying twigs, leaves engulfing organic material. It moves or its movement is used by the organs called as decaying twigs, and it engulfs or takes the food as leaves and organic material. Under suitable conditions, they form an aggregation called plasmodium, which may grow and spread over several feet. Yes, its body is in unfavorable condition. Its body will spread like this. It is here the plasmodium. It will changes its shapes by enlarging its body feet to several feet. Not only inch or a centimeter, it is a several feet. Feet is nothing but 6 inch of measure. During unfavorable conditions, the plasmodium differentiates and form fruiting bodies bearing spores at their tips. The spores possess true walls. They are extremely resistant and survive for many years. Even under adverse conditions, the spores are dispersed by air currents. Here, protozoans. All protozoans are heterotrophs and live as predator or parasitic. They are believed to be primitive relatives of animals, and they are believed to be primitive relatives of animals, and there are four types of protozoans. Here, amoeboid protozoan. Amoeboid, the name itself says amoeboid. Amoeboid means it is like a amoeba, and already we read it as they are primitive relatives of animals. That's why they are like amoeboid protozoans. First example, first type. And these organisms live in fresh water, seawater, or moist soil, and they are move and capture prey by putting out Pseudopodia phosphate, which is similar to Pseudopodia is present in amoeba. It is a phosphate, and same to same amoeba protozoans here have it. When their food comes, they put their Pseudopodia out to capture it. Here and next. Here, marine forms have silica shells. Marine amoeboid protozoans have a silica shells. They are also present in the chrysophytes, and that's similar silica shells also present in amoeboid protozoans. Now, some of them, such as entamoeba, are parasitic. Example of this amoeboid protozoans here the entamoeba and flagellated protozoan. The members of this group are either free-living or parasitic, and they have flagella. The parasitic forms cause diseases such as sleeping sickness. Example, trypophosoma. Here, the flagella. The name itself says flagella, which has flagella and causes the disease because they are parasitic, and the disease is called sleeping sickness, which is example here is trypophosoma. And ciliated means they have cilia, and ciliated protozoans, these are aquatic actively moving organisms because of the presence of thousands of cilia. They have thousands of cilia. Remember, thousand in the NEET exam it may be confused as 1,199 million billion, like this. That's number is important as 1,000 cilia. And they have a cavity, nothing but gullet, that opens to the outside of the cell surface, and coordinated movement of rows of cilia causes water laden with the food to be steered into the gullet. Example, paramecium. Paramecium is example for having thousands of cilia, which takes the water laden along with the food. And next, sporozoans. The sporozoans, these include the diverse organisms that have infection and spore-like stage in their life cycle. The word itself says, the name itself says the how the type of protozoans they are. They are sporophytic, nothing but sporozoans, and which have a spore-like stage in their life cycle. Example, plasmodium. It is a malaria-causing parasite, causes malaria, and the disease staggered effect on the human population. It is very effectful and death-causing disease. Now, kingdom fungi. The fungi constitute a unique kingdom of heterotrophic organisms. The whole fungi kingdom is consist of heterotrophic organisms. They show a great diversity in morphology and habitat. You must have seen fungi on moist bread and rotten fruits. The common mushroom you eat and toadstools are also fungi. Here, the fungi are the heterotrophic kingdom. Now they show the diversity of morphology and habitat, and they have seen fungi, moist bread, and rotten fruits. And common mushroom eat mushrooms and toadstools all were fungi. And white spots seen on mustard leaves are due to the parasitic fungus, and some unicellular fungi, nothing but example, yeast, are used to make bread and beer. Here the main thing is the fungi is multicellular, nothing but tissue is present, but yeast is unicellular and it used to make bread and beer. And making bread is called baking yeast, and making beer, then it was called here the baker's yeast, and beer, when it used to beer, it was called another name. Now here the mustard leaves have a white spots in their leaves because of parasitic fungus only. Some are the source of rust-causing Fusinia is important example. Some are the source of antibiotic example penicillin. Rust causes the fungi organism called Fusinia by Fusinia, and antibiotic it was penicillin. Here useful fungi was penicillin. All the Fusinia. Here the yeast and penicillin were useful, while they are friendly but friendly to man. When come to the Fusinia and white spots of mustard leaves, it is a foe, nothing but it was friend, opposite word, foe. Next, fungi are cosmopolitan and occur in air, water, soil, and on animals and plants. They are cosmopolitan and already they are heterotrophic, and which depends on other organisms like animals and plants. They prefer to grow in warm and humid places. They grow in the humid and warm places because you can see in home the rust, bread rust were more seen in the summer season because fungi prefer to grow in humid and warm. Humid, it not a summer, it's a winter season. It is humid. It's nothing but In between the period of winter and summer, it was humid and warm. Then the east rust we can rust rustes we can see in women in home. Next, have you ever wondered why we keep food in the refrigerator? Yes, it is prevent food from going bad due to bacterial or fungal infection. Yes, the fridge is mix out of humid and warm that prevents the growth of fungi and bacteria, which the humid and warm, which is primitive environment for growth of these bacteria and fungus. And now, with the exception of yeasts, which are unicellular, fungi are filamentous. Their body consists of long, slender, thread-like structure called hyphae. They have a long thread-like structures called hyphae. This hyphae. Yes, these are called hyphae. Next, here the other have septae or cross was in their hyphae. Nothing but it was like branches where can be seen. Then it was septae of hyphae, and no branch also seen as a cynocetic. Nothing but no branches is there. And network of hyphae is mycelium. Some hyphae are continuous tubes filled with multinucleated cytoplasm, and these are called cynocytic hyphae. And some hyphae have a multinucleated cytoplasm. Nucleus are more, and it is called as cynocytic hyphae. And others have a septae or crosswords in their hyphae. And the cell wall of fungi are composed of chitin and polysaccharides. The cell wall is made up of chitin and polysaccharides. Remember, it may come in the exam. And here the cynocytic means cynocytic. It means it was hyphae having multinucleuses. These are nucleus. Hyphae having multinucleuses. It is called cynocytic. If only one nucleus uninuclear, then it was called cynocytic. Yes, clear? Now next. Most of fungi are heterotrophic and absorb soluble organic matter from dead substrates and are called sporophytes. It's not a sporophyte, it's saprophytes. Most fungi are heterotrophs, absorb soluble organic matter from the dead substrates. As I already told you, the organisms which depends on the dead substrates for their food, they absorb the soluble organic matter. They are called saprophytes. And those that depend on living plants and animals are called parasitic. The organisms which depends on living plants, animals, called parasites. It was important as dead and living. Here the dead and here the living. LP. Living. Next, those that depend. Now they can also live as symbionts in association with algae or lichens, and with the root of higher plants are mycorrhiza. The fungi association with algae is lichens. They are non-polluting Non-pollution indicators, good pollution indicators are lichens. Now, higher plants of mycorrhiza. In higher plants, mycorrhiza can be seen in the roots. That's why the higher plants growth is because of mycorrhiza presence in their roots. Reproduction in fungi can take place by vegetative means as fragmentation, fission, and budding. These are vegetative. Vegetative means there is a sexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction is by spores called conidia or the spores and sporozoos or zoospores. In this, there are types of fungi can be seen, and the sexual can be seen by the spores formation as conidia or the sporozoos or zoospores. All three are same: conidia, sporozospores, and next zoospores. They are all equal. Next, and asexual reproduction is by oospores, ascospores, and basilospores. And the various spores are produced in distinct structures called fruiting bodies. These various spores, these are three types of spores. They have a difference in the distinct structure called fruiting bodies. They produce in fruiting bodies. And the sexual cycle involves following three steps. These organisms' sexual cycle involves three steps: fusion of protoplasmids between two motile or non-motile gametes called plasmogamy, and fusion of two nuclei called as chorigamy, meiosis in zygote resulting in haploid spores. When a fungus reproduces sexually, two haploid hyphae of compatible mating types come together and fuse. In some fungi, the fusion of two haploid cells immediately results in diploid cells. And however, in other fungi, as in Ascomycetes and Bacillomycetes, an intervening dikaryotic stage N plus N, that is 2 nuclei per cell, occurs. Such condition is called as dikaryon, and phase is called dikaryophase of fungus. Later, parental nuclei fuse and cells become diploid, and the fungi form fruiting bodies in which reduction division occurs, leading to the formation of haploid spores. The morphology here, all three steps here can be seen in the fungi, but here an exception of Ascomycetes and Bacillomycetes, because in these organisms there is a dikaryotic phase, nothing but 2 nuclei per cell. That phase, that condition is called dikaryon, and the phase dikaryophase. And later parental nuclei fuse and cells become diploid. And now parental nuclei after fusion they become diploid. The fungi form fruiting bodies. In the reduction division they form haploid spores. The morphology of the mycelium, mode of spore formation, and the fruiting bodies forms the basis for division of kingdom into various classes. Morphology is nothing but outer structure of mycelium, the mode of spore formation, how the spore here forms. The fruiting bodies form the basis of division into various classes. Phycomycetes. Members of Phycomycetes are found in aquatic habitat and on decayed wood, in moist and damp places, or as obligate parasites in plants. And the mycelium is a septate. Mycelium is a septate means no branches we are seeing. No branches we are seeing. It was single. And it is called septate and cenocytic, nothing but it has a various nucleus in their cytoplasm. And asexual reproduction takes place by zoospores. Zoospores means they are motile. That's why zoospores, or by aplanospores, nothing but non-motile. Asexual reproduction consists of two types of spores. Zoospores because they are motile, they have capacity to move, and non-motile, they do not move as aplanospores. And these spores are endogenously produced. Endogenously means they produced inner surface, not outer surface. They are produced inner surface. That's why endogenously produced in sporangium. And a zygospore is formed by fusion of two gametes, and these gametes are similar in morphology, nothing but isogamy or dissimilar as einogamy or oogamy. Some common examples are mucor. Some common examples of mucor, rhizopus, the bread mold mentioned earlier, and albugo, parasitic fungus on the mustard. Here, gametes, nothing but sexual reproduction is by the isogamous or dissimilar size as einogamy. Isogamous means similar sizes of two gametes. We have similar size, but einogamy or oogamous means one is large, one is small, dissimilar size. And mucor is nothing but it is an example of phagocytes. It is a rhizopus bread mold as mentioned earlier, and albugo is a parasitic fungus of mustard. Ascomycetes, commonly called as sac fungi. Ascomycetes is also called as sac fungi, as they are called as sac fungi. And example is a penicillin. They are called sac fungi. Here in this Ascomycetes type of fungi, Ascomycetes type of fungi, penicillin is example, and yeast is example. Yeast is also called as Saccharomyces in scientific word of yeast is Saccharomyces. In the bacterial chapter, we can see the Saccharomyces word. Then we should know it as yeast. Next, they are saprophytic decomposers, parasitic or coprophilous. Coprophilous nothing but growing on dung. Dung is the waste of cow, buffaloes, etc. In their dung, methane is present. And mycelium is branched and separate. Opposite to phagocytes, it is branched and separate of mycelium. Mycelium is nothing but group of Iphia. Iphia has these fungi, these structures called Iphia, and the group of Iphia is called mycelium. The asexual spores are conidia produced exogenously. Opposite to phagocytes, it is exogenously produced conidia. In the phagocytes, conidia produced endogenously. Exogenously means outer surface they grow. They produce and special mycelium called conidiophores on special mycelium, and conidio on germination produce mycelium, and sexual spores are produced called as ascospores, which are produced endogenously. These produce endogenously in a sac asci, and single ascus. Asci is nothing but single ascus, and these asci are arranged in different Types of fruiting bodies called as ascocarps, and some example of is Aspergillus claviceps neurospora. Neurospora is used for the extensive in biochemical and genetic work. It may be asking for NEET, that is, Neurospora uses as biochemical and genetic work, and many members like morels and truffles are edible, are considered as delicious. These groups, these ascomycetes have morels and truffles. Examples we hear delicious food. And next, Basidomycetes. Commonly known as forms of Basidomycetes are mushrooms. These are mushrooms and bracket fungi and puffballs. These consist of bracket fungi and puffballs. They grow in soil, on logs and tree stumps, and in living plant bodies as parasites. Example, rust and smust. It is rhyming words. Rust and smells. Rust and smells. Here's examples of Basidomycetes. Basidomycetes, rust and smells. Rust and smells. Basidomycetes. It is like a rhyme. Next, the mycelium is branched and septate. Here, Phacomacetes only have a septate, but Basidomycetes is septate and branched. The asexual spores are generally not found, but vegetative reproduction by fragmentation is common. Here, the exception, it is not exception, but it is most important word, that is, they do not have the they do not have asexual spores. Note this line, because these type of questions we are asked, it may be asked that the Basidomycetes are the conioidal spores, nothing but they are the asexual spores. Then the statement is wrong. Statement wise question may be asked in this line, but vegetative reproduction by fragmentation is common, and the sex organs are absent, but plasmogamy is brought about by fusion of two vegetative or somatic cells of different strains or genotype. Remember it, the sex organs were absent, but the plasmogamy is taken by the fusion of two vegetative or somatic cells, different strains and genotype. The resultant structure is dikaryotic, which is ultimately gives rise to basidium. Here the dikaryotic is nothing but two nuclei per cell. Next, which ultimately gives rise to basidium, and karyogamy and meiosis take place in basidium, producing four basidospores. The basidospores are exogenously produced on the basidia. The basidia are arranged in fruiting bodies called basidiocarps, and some common members are agaricus, mushroom, and ustilago as smut, and fuchsia as a rest. It is confusing. Ustilago as smut. Here are the examples we are forgettable, hence it is must to revise it frequently. And here ustilago is smut and fuchsia is a rust. US, remember it as US. You have gone to US. Nothing but ustilago is example for smut. And Deuteromacetes. Here the claviceps and the sexual spores of conidia produce exogenously in the ascomycetes. It was a PYQ. I forget it. Ascomycetes, like asexual spores of conidia produced exogenously. It is opposite to the Phacomacetes. It was important, and here it is also PYQ. Next, Here agaricus is a mushroom. Remember, and deuteromycetes. Deuteromycetes is called as imperfect fungi. Please remember all the other names of fungi, nothing but Phycomycetes. It is not have another other name, but Ascomycetes have a other name as sac fungi, and Deuteromycetes as the imperfect fungi, and Basidiomycetes as the puff balls, bracket fungi, and mushrooms. Now, here the only asexual and vegetative phases of these fungi are known: asexual and vegetative. No sexual can be here. It was important, and when asexual forms of these fungi are discovered, they move to the other groups what rightly they belong to. If in this deuteromycetes, if we marked the sexual reproduction, then we move to the another classes like Phycomycetes or the Basidiomycetes, Ascomycetes, and it is also possible that a sexual and vegetative stage have been given one name and placed another class. Later, when linkages were established, the fungi were correctly identified and moved out of the deuteromycetes. Once perfect nothing but sexual, they do not have a sexual reproduction, hence they are called imperfect. Yes, clear. And the stages of members of deuteromycetes were discovered. They were often moved to Ascomycetes and Basidiomycetes. Deuteromycetes produce only by asexual spores known as conidia, and the mycelium is septate and branched. All the three groups, Basidiomycetes, Ascomycetes, and Deuteromycetes, were having mycelium septate and branched. Only Phycomycetes have a septate. And some members of are saprophytic, parasitic, while a large number of them are decomposers of litter and hence help in mineral cycling. It was a POQ. Please remember, the POQ were most important because direct questions were asked and the repeated questions we can see in the NEET exam. That's why I am marking you the all POQ. That is, they are the most members of this group are decomposed of litters, nothing but decomposed of litters, which is used for mineral cycling. Example where as Alternaria, Colichicum, Trichoderma. All the examples were also important in the NEET exam because the forgettable things were most asked by NEET exam. That's why remember all the examples of all the groups. In animal kingdom also the examples are so many as बरसात, पानी बरसाएंगे वहाँ पानी बरसाते हैं. Like examples were like a पानी बरसाने. Next, पानी बरसाने is nothing but raining, like a raining. That much of examples in the animal kingdom we can see. Without delay, next, come for next. It is kingdom Plandia. It is like a summary. It is not clearly explained because in the third chapter we can read the plant kingdom, and the fourth chapter is all about the animal kingdom. In the plant kingdom Plantia, kingdom Plantia includes all eukaryotic chlorophyll containing organisms commonly called plants. A few members are partially heterotrophic, such as the insectivorous plants or parasites. Here the exceptions we can see. They are partially heterotrophs because all the we can see in the table in the first introduction part, that is all the Plantia kingdom it is autotrophic, but exceptions we can see as partially heterotrophs as insectivorous plants and parasites. Bladderwort and Venus flytrap are the examples of insectivorous plant. Examples as bladderwort and Venus flytrap are called insectivorous plants because they depends on the insects for the food, and there are also parasites like cuscuta. Cuscuta is an example of parasite which is depends on other plants for their survival. The plants cells have the eukaryotic structure which prominent chloroplast and cell wall mainly made up of new cellulose. All plants the cell wall is are made up of cellulose and they are eukaryotic organisms, nothing but they have a definite nuclear membrane. And you will study the eukaryotic cell structure in detail in chapter 8. Planting includes algae, braphites, pteridophytes, gymnosperms, and angiosperms. We are the divisions of this kingdom, and here the life cycle of plants has two distinct phases: the diploid sporophytic and haploid gametophytic. They have two distinct phases and that alternate with each generation, and the lengths of other haploid and diploid phases, and whether these phases are free living or are dependent on others and vary among different groups in plants. And this phenomenon is called as alternation of generation because their sporophytic and gametophytic are interchanging one. That's why they are called alternation of generation can be seen, and we will study the further detail in chapter 3. And the animalia. This kingdom is characterized by the heterotrophic eukaryotic organisms that are multicellular and their cells lack cell wall. They directly or indirectly depend on the plants for food, and they digest their own food in an internal cavity and store food reserves as glycogen or fat. Here, the food taken by animals it is digested in the cavity, and food reserves can be seen in the form of glycogen or fat. And their mode of nutrition is allogeneic by ingestion of food. Allogeneic means nothing but ingestion of food, and they follow a definite growth pattern and grow into adults that have definite shape and size. Allergic means ingestion of food, nothing but we taken it as, yeah, there was a Kannada song, it is beautiful by Vishnuvardhan in Vishnuvardhan cinema, that is Tuttu Hanna Tinnoke. That's Tuttu Hanna Tinnoke Pogase Neeru Kudiyoke. That's ingestion of food is nothing but taking of food in the form of ingestion of food by our hands. It's nothing but allergic, and most of them are capable of locomotion. And sexual reproduction is by copulation of male and female, followed by embryological development. And silent features of various phyla are described in chapter 4. Here the embryological development is nothing but food is food not a food, baby is carried by a mother for 9 months. That's called embryological development in the stomach of woman. And the viruses, viroids, and prions and lichens. Most loving topic of NEET. Most questions we are asked by this chapter in this topic. Yes, seriously, not seriously, concentrately focus on this topic. And in the five kingdom classification of Whittaker, there is no mention of lichens and some cellular organisms like viruses, viroids, and prions. We are the cellular organisms do not mentioned by Whitaker, and also like in VRC points, they are also never be mentioned by Whitaker. That's why we read as another part. That is, all of us who have suffered the ill effects of common cold flu know that effects viruses can have on us, and even if you do not associate with it with our condition, and viruses did not find a place in classification since they are not considered truly living. They are not truly living because they live as in surrounding as non-living, and in the host they will grow as a living. Host nothing but organisms in which they were gone. Host is nothing but the viruses affects the animals. These animals are called hosts. And if we understand living as those organisms that have cell structure, if we have to consider for living, they must have cellular structure, but they are cellular ones, and the viruses are non-cellular organisms. They are characterized by having an inert crystalline structure outside the cell. They have an inert crystalline structure outside the cell, and here the TMV, and here the bacteriophage, which affects the viruses, which affects the bacteria, and TMV viruses, tobacco mosaic virus. And once they infect the cell, they take over the machinery of host cell to replicate themselves, killing the host. Or call viruses living or non-living? Yes, I already told you that they grow inside the host body and causes death to organism which they affected. And viruses means venom or poisonous fluid. Dmitry Ivanovsky, in the year of 1892, important to remember it, recognized certain microbes as causal organisms of the mosaic disease of tobacco, and they were found to be similar than bacteria, and because they passed through bacteria-proof filters. M.W. Bergernek in 1898 demonstrated that extract of infected plant of tobacco could cause infection in healthy plants, and named the new pathogen virus called as Contagium vivium fluidium by M.W. Bergernek in 1898, and it is called it as Contagium vivium fluidium. It was extract taken by the tobacco plants. And W.M. Stanley, here the one trick. Bergernek as M.W. M first because M is in alphabetical order. M is comes first, and next W. Bergernek. B is also first in alphabetical form. Here the W after it was opposite to Bergernek. W.M. as Stanley in 1935 and showed that viruses could be crystalline, and crystal consists of large proteins. He explained that the virus's structure, it is made of a protein and crystalline structure. Yes. And the next, they are inert outside their specific host, and viruses are obligate parasites. Obligate parasites means they grow inside the organism. And in a condition to proteins, viruses also contain genetic material. They could be either RNA or DNA. Humans have a DNA, but viruses either RNA or DNA. And here the clearly mentioned no viruses contain both RNA and DNA. It is statement-based questions may be asked in this paragraph. They have either of RNA, either RNA or DNA, not both. In general, viruses that infect plants have single-stranded RNA. The viruses that infect animals have a double-stranded RNA or a double-stranded DNA. Yes, animals were having double-stranded DNA. That's why they may be double-stranded RNA or double-stranded DNA viruses. And this where the viruses infect plants, where all of are RNA single-stranded. Bacterioviruses or bacteriophages, viruses that infect the bacteria called as bacteriophage and are usually double-stranded DNA viruses. The protein coat called capsid, made up of small subunits called capsomers, protects the nucleic acid, and capsomers are arranged in helical or polyhedral geometry forms, and viruses causes diseases like mumps, smallpox, herpes, and influenza. AIDS in humans is also caused by virus, and in plants the symptom can be mosaic formation, leaf curling, yellowing, vein clearing, dwarfing, stunted growth. Animals in animals these can be virus causing diseases. In plants these were diseases in plants by viruses. And next topic, viroids. Viroids in 1971, Theo Diner discovered a new infection agent that was smaller than viruses and causes the disease potato spindle tuber disease. It was found to be free RNA and it lacked the protein coat that is found in viruses, and its name as viroid, and the RNA of the viroids was low molecular weight. Here the difference of virus and viroids. Viroids. Virus have a protein code. Here no protein code. They have a high molecular weight, but here the low molecular weight. And next, prions. Prions in modern. Every line of this topic were important because all the lines, most of the lines were asked in PYQ, nothing but previous year question. What is PYQ? PYQ is nothing but previous year question. In modern medicine, certain infection neurological diseases were found to be transmitted by agent consisting of abnormally folded proteins. The agent was similar in size of viruses, and these agents were called as prions. Prions were similar to size of the viruses, and they have abnormally folded proteins, and they transmitted infectious neurological diseases was caused by prions only. And the example as prion causing disease, bovine spongiform encephalopathy is nothing but BSE, commonly called as mad cow disease in cattle, and its analogous variant of CR Jacob disease in animals, nothing but humans. Now lichens are a symbiotic association, that is mutually useful association between the algae and fungi. Symbionts means they are mutual sharing, do not harm any organisms of two. They do not harm to each other. They are friendly to each other by sharing their work. Nothing but they are symbionts. And here the algae component is called as phycobient, and fungal component is called mycobient. Please remember the algal component. It was confusing line in the exam day because algae is a phycobient, fungi is Phycobian. FM, remember it as FM radio. Phyco fungal is fungal part of the lichens is called mycobiate. Next, which are autotrophic and heterotrophic respectively. Autotrophic where the algal component phycobiate, then heterotrophic is fungal component. The fungi itself is heterotrophic only, and that's why it is clear. And next, algae prepare food for fungi, and the fungi provide shelter and absorb minerals from and also water from the soil. And so close is their association that if one saw lichens in nature, one would never imagine that they are two different organisms. They look like a single, and lichens are very good pollution indicators. Nothing but they only seen in the non-polluted areas, and they never grow in the polluted areas. Here the summary is also important. In the present NEET exams, the scientist topic also questions were arising. In the summary point of view also arising questions. Summary is nothing but it is a whole bullet points of the lesson, but in summary the lines come which we are not mentioned in NCERT lessons also. Those important words we are important lines we are asking NEET exam. We know we read lesson but we skip summary. That's the main first we are doing, and here the some points which were not mentioned in NCERT lesson, it was mentioned in summary which comes in a NEET exam. Yes, we read it to clear. Biological classification of plants and animals was first proposed by Aristotle on the basis of simple morphological characters. Linnaeus later classified all organisms into two kingdoms, Plantae, Animalia, and Whitaker proposed an elaborate five-kingdom classification, Monera, Protista, Fungi, Plantae, Animalia, and the main criteria of the five-kingdom classification were cell structure, body organization, mode of nutrition and reproduction, and phylogenetic relationship. In the five kingdom classification, bacteria are included in kingdom Monera. The bacteria are cosmopolitan in distribution, and these organisms show the most extensive metabolic diversity, and bacteria may be autotrophic or heterotrophic in their mode of nutrition. And the kingdom Protista includes all single-celled eukaryotic such as chrysophytes, dinoflagellates, euglenids, slime modes, and protozoans. Protista have a defined nucleus and other membrane-bound organelles, but the parts were present in the cells, nothing but mitochondria, nucleus, and lysosome, ribosome, etc., Golgi apparatus, etc. And members of kingdom fungi show a great diversity in structure and habitat. Most fungi are saprophytic in their mode of nutrition, and vestomys show a sexual reproduction. Phycomycetes, Ascomycetes, Vestomycetes, and Deuteromycetes are four classes of under this kingdom, and the Plantae includes all eukaryotic chlorophyll-containing organisms, and algae, bryophytes, pteridophytes, gymnosperms, angiosperms are included in this group. And the life cycle of plants exhibit alternation of generation, gametophyte and sporophytic generations. The heterotrophic eukaryotic multicellular organisms lacking a cell wall are included in the kingdom Animalia, and the mode of nutrition of these organisms is allogeneic and reproduce mostly by sexual mode, and some acellular organisms like viruses, viroids, prions, and the lichens are not included in five kingdom classification. Yes, in this way done the chapter. Done. Buri very.